Welcome. My name is Rich, and this is a laid-back Let's Play of Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, wherein I shall take my time playing the game, not rush. I will talk about things that I like about the game, or things I think they could have done better. I will talk about places I think the game drew its inspiration, or just generally things that interest me, or I decide to talk about. I will make snarky comments at the expense of the game, or point out errors or strange things that don't make sense. I will not play absolutely perfectly, because I can't. I'm not good at perfect plays. I will make mistakes. I will be sloppy and not make the best choices, the best possible choices at every stage. I will make terrible jokes. Currently we are in the Drowned Forest. We're about to enter Bonlach. But we will also venture to Sanctuary Grotto ere long, and then head to the Keening for the Fallen Hall and destroy the Prismere Chantries and a few other things that are no doubt here. We will also discover where the Baelor came from, because we followed the trail, the furrow that the Baelor left through the Cursewood along here, and it actually leads up this way, not down here. It curves around. So in the Keening is where the Baelor was summoned. Lots of enemies all about. Mergen mostly, but also some Thresh and Boggarts. Is there anything else that I usually say? Can't think. Okay, anyway. In we go. Oops.
The artifact will be in the library, near the back of the castle. You lead, I'll follow.
What are we doing
We
again?
need to find the artifact. It should be in the library, at the rear of the castle.
Right, okay, thanks. Thanks, game, for telling me practically nothing about this on asking. She could have recapped that she's been hired by some weirdo recluse who collects artifacts in Odessa, who somehow knows the location of this artifact, despite the fact that no one has been to Bonlach for ages. And also the fact that the whole of Cluricon and Alabastra has been cut off from news by the siege of Melson Shear. But okay, so what are we facing? Mergen, right, okay, that makes sense. Oh, and there's bucket traps that I should endeavour to avoid. Huh. So breaking it down for parts, well, disabling with a high enough disable. Actually, ouch. Disabling traps with a high enough, I think it's find hidden or stealth. No, it's detect hidden. Yeah, there we go. having a high enough detect hidden actually means that traps get broken down into crafting components, which I suppose makes sense, but I hadn't really thought about. I mean, traps can be disarmed and salvaged for components. I didn't know what kind of components it would be salvaging into. Although now thinking about it, maybe the mines that we find in various ruin... what kind of ruins are they? Arathi ruins. Will be breakdownable into sage crafting components, maybe? Anyway, so now that we've got our highest level balanced destiny, we actually don't need to put any more points into blacksmithing because we're maxed out. We can now create master crafted equipment, which I thinking I might spend some time trying to do. Although, I mean, it will require quality components, which I don't think that I have. I don't necessarily have high enough quality components. This is nice. We've just regained this after getting 3 pips extra. Craft epic gems. That's a little way away. So is that. Putting pips into anything except for stealth won't gain us any new abilities from these marked ranks. Map. Okay, there's another spike trap over here. Oops, I almost walked over it. Thanks for... oh, this is interesting. Thanks, game, for hiding the indicator that there's something to interact with under the water and not making it activate or manifest visually. It's a good thing I've got detect hidden high enough that I can see traps on the minimap. Isn't it? Ooh, a chest. I'm amazed that the bottom of this hasn't just rotted out entirely. It should also be rusted, you would expect. Unless some kind of preservation magic has been cast on it, which it may well have done. Oh, now we can get our feet dry. Have off with most of them. Well, we're having off with all of it, but we're keeping 2 of the items. What weird architecture. What would the purpose of this section here have been? Ooh, hidden door. Ah, in fact, that leads over to here, doesn't it? That's why I can see enemies on the map, but they're not on, like, floor. Where did you come from? This water is not deep enough for her to have been hiding. There's a solid metal grate beneath us. The water is up to my... just about up to my knees. Where exactly was she lurking? Or is this a magic thing wherein the surface of the water is a liminal space that allows her to transfer herself? Neither of these are things I particularly care about. Hollow log, I'm surprised that hasn't rotted away entirely. Ooh. Very easy to spell. Let's have off with the Scarlet Flowstone. I know that single items of crafting component in chests are really worth it, but okay. Looks like this is a loop. That's nice. Let's come this way, and then we can come down. Ooh, there's a trap, a spike trap just inside the hidden door. Need to try and remember that. We'll come down this way, head to the library, and then leave this way. Unless there's an exit somewhere out here, but I didn't see any corresponding exit on the map outside, which you do tend to, even if it's just like a ledge and a jump point. Where you exit a cave or something. How's it going, guys? She's straightening. I wonder who she was attacking with that last assault. Wow, that was weird. Again, got confused about what it was supposed to be loading in. Jonk. And... hit the door. Now this is displaying very nicely. Thank you. But when it's underwater, it doesn't. I'm surprised I'm not getting components now. Or maybe it's just that they have a chance to be broken down into components and that you won't necessarily get components if you disarm a trap. Ooh, nice. Very easy. I've already got a set... well, I've got 3 sets of elemental chakrams, one of each, so I don't need them. More Mergen. Surprised that one was just standing there stupidly, looking at me. Thank you. Have off with all of them. Here we have our great foe, the Shinhai wall, or barrier, in this case some rocks. Sometimes the barrier is even lower, ankle height. Can't tell you how much that makes sense, because it doesn't. Oh yeah, we wanted to go this way, didn't we? Oh, this goes down. Okay. Back into the swamp. We've been in tumble-down Fey castles like this before, but in those cases they've been... Huh. Okay. I thought that we'd come through to here, but we came to here, and I thought when we were here that we were here, and confused myself. We've been in ruined Fey castles like this before, but in previous cases it's usually been massive vines growing up through the castle, like thorny vine trunks. And there are similar elements like these piles of rubble and red-green grass, but the water and the colours the colours of the floating elements in the air, and the like haze is kind of blue rather than yellow. It's got a different feel, which I appreciate. Like, it definitely feels like, oh, this place is ruined but with water, rather than this looks like an ambush location. Well, I'm not sure how we're going to get out. I suppose they may spring from the ground. Alright, you know, restoring this place would be a real chore, wouldn't it? Draining it, making it watertight. Although, I suppose, draining and watertighting locations is probably... There's probably spells to do that for you, or to make it easier. I mean, I can throw fireballs around. I imagine there's a form of magic that just dries things out with heat. I wonder how far this guy's going to patrol. Because he started over here, and this guy was in here. Very weird. Stab. Oh no, didn't have anything. Oh, we don't actually need to sneak anymore. Surprised all of these doors are still intact. There's 1, 2... Okay, so only 3 doors. I thought there were more doors. Oh well. What kind of traps are these? Oh, spike traps. I don't care about simple components. They're not useful. Novice strings, yeah.
Don't stop now.
Oh, come on. Not you. The trap. I don't care about weak rivets. Or novice strings. No, let's get this last one whilst I remember about it. Ooh, Prismare lockpick. We don't see many of them around. Master Alchemist's Art. I think I've got a few of them. I probably don't need any more. Oh right, I've already disabled that one. That was the first one I disabled. It's just I could still interact with it because there was still something there. Right, well, I've got plenty of picks this time. Lucky. Guessed it right first time. Nice. There better be something good back here. There's a chest. What's in it? That was a very difficult... Ooh, another Prismare lockpick. Fine Silverlight Helm, which I don't care about particularly. Crude Prismare Hammer. King's Daggers. That's going to be 80 health, isn't it? Well, these give 60 of health and mana. So, and there are components that give you both. I mean, this was a component that gave me both. So it would be nice if I could find a component or, you know, an item that gives health and mana. But yeah, that's not. Just health on its own isn't useful to me particularly. Looks like Ariel's gotten stuck. She seems to get stuck on the geometry quite a lot. Oh, there was a door. rubbish guard this guy is. I was amazed that I was even able to get that far. That's my stealth being a bit ridiculous. 2 from the top. Absolute mastery of stealth. Is that it? Okay. Yep, this is definitely a library. These are remarkably well preserved. Although I think I've mentioned before, there's probably like preservation magic in play. Ooh. Sagecraft altar and alchemical lab. Now then, we haven't really faced that much adversity getting in here. There was a few groups of enemies, and one in this corridor and one in here. So I'm just wondering what exactly is going to spawn in when we get this artifact that we've been asked to discover. This is interesting. All of these are still lit. Is there someone in here, do you suppose? Locked up. A Fae, probably? A Tuatha? No. Old debtors and tatter documents, which neither of which actually go for any kind of money or are worth anything. Ember eyes. Oh, so these are component alchemy ingredient pots. Ancient artifact. A small ornate box. It is locked by a strange mechanism.
That's it? Not very impressive, is it? I wonder what's inside. Doesn't look like we'll be able to get it open, but my employer might. Here is your reward, as promised. If you'll excuse me, I don't want to linger here.
That's fair enough. And then she's off. Oh, is that it? I was kind of expecting more. Wasn't really any kind of a challenge in there. Oh well. I wonder why she's heading that way. That's not the quicker way out, is it? Oh, probably because this isn't, I didn't open this, so the pathing isn't allowing her AI to know that this is a way out. Yeah, this is a way faster way out. Well, we'll beat her out, even if our run speed wasn't higher than hers, which it is. We would still have beaten her out. And then, no doubt, she will disappear. And we will never see her again. What kind of progress has she made? Oh, she's just stopped there. Alright. Stuck against the wall. Okie doke. Let's go down to the sanctuary then, I think. I have discovered it, so I could just fast travel. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't meet anything on the way anyway, so... Bolgans. And no indication of how big the place is. This is quite nice, though. Seems like a secret nature-y sort of location. Oh, where did that bowline come from? I'm sure that there wasn't... Ooh, a hidden door. I'm sure there wasn't one here before. He's looking around, but he can't see me. It's probably because he's only got one eye. That's the explanation that I've come up with. That's what I'm sticking to. Nice. Huh. This golden chalice is clearly not the cup of a carpenter, but most merchants would pay well for it. Another weird biblical reference, but this actually is a reference probably to Indiana Jones. Okay, well, I don't need to sneak whilst I'm here. He's dead now. And I wonder whether I can sneak up... Well, maybe. I might be able to sneak up on this one, as long as he's facing... as long as his area of view is sufficiently off, but I doubt it, so I'm probably going to have to go for a proper scrap with them. And that's assuming they stay still and don't look around. Awkward assholes they are to sneak up on. They're just not staying still, are they? Ah, bugger it. How did he manage to hit me? I was rolling. Their ability to turn is kind of bullshit, I think. Apparently they get up quite a lot of momentum and then can just turn like 45 degrees effortlessly, which I don't really buy. Oh hey, he had treasure too, eh? Fine, ebony staff, gold, golden chalice, to junk. Oh yeah. What is within? Mergen? Mergen. So, unless there's another way in, do you suppose they close that secret, unless there's another way in, which there might well be. I mean, it seems like there's a pool here, which might... Are these Mergen eggs? This pool seems like it might possibly connect to somewhere outside. I mean, I could buy it, maybe. Oops. That's not what I intended to do with the camera. Or maybe that's just a birthing pool. Because otherwise, like, would they have to come in, sneak in past the Bolgan, close the door every time they come in, and then like open and close it frequently? Okay, so maybe they could come in through. So the things we saw before are definitely Mergen eggs, but the ones that the Banshee spit up are way bigger, like they give birth to full-sized live young. It's an ingenious hood. Lowered mana costs. That might be worth breaking down, see if we can get the component that gives lowered mana costs, actually. Advanced stuff, precision. Chance of critical hit. Let's try and break that down as well. For the crit chance component. Two skeletons. Flawless mystic bindings, nice. Chance of critical hit with magic. Ah, well. I don't really care about crit with magic. If I want, as I said before, if I'm looking for crit, then I just want crit. I don't want it to be with magic or with physical to limit me. But that's fine. It's not taking up any space. It just goes into my component pouch, so it's not. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. More Bolgan. Don't think that I can sneak up on these guys either. This is an awfully large area for just 3 Bolgan. Is there maybe some kind of quest in here that we just haven't picked up? Amazing that I was able to just walk in and decide, after quite a lot of time, that I actually was going to enter stealth. How do you feel about a pair of daggers up the arse? You don't like them? That's a surprise. It is a little bit weird. Oh no, that's probably a bench, isn't it? Not a work, like a place to sit rather than a workbench or a work surface. Because, no, that's probably a work surface. I mean, it's stained, but this might well be a bench. Bit shallow for a bench, though, for a Bolgan. Maybe some kind of footstool. But if it is a workstation, I mean, that's that slow for a human, let alone a Bolgan. Maybe they have a cultural standard of sitting down to work at things rather than standing. This is nice, though. Big open area. Next to a tree that seems to be growing out of a flat plane of solid rock, which is impressive. Oh, there is something up here. Okay. This is a really weird let's take them. Layout for what's Juggernauts do? +2 to might abilities. That will probably be worth taking to break down. See if we can get that component. I feel like this location probably has a quest associated with it. We just haven't been given it yet. Because that... oh hey, Verise. That big room there, with a little passage off the back of it, this feels like a boss fight room. And then, like, you'd find some rewards back there. Or maybe some story NPC to interact with. But then again, I mean, looking at the whole area, particularly Alabastra, you get the feeling that they were running out of time. These locations are not anything like as big as any of these, for example. I mean, Odorath, these areas are huge. Oops, no. And even compared with Cluricon, the areas of Alabastra are way small. But now I think, oh, actually, let's fast travel Alpha Camp and then go into the Keening. Right, and here's that big furrow that that I'm assuming the Baylor dug. Discaro chaps. I've got icy chakrams to use on you. There we go. Don't know that I was getting vulnerable alerts, but they definitely don't like. I definitely have had vulnerable alerts previously using ice against Discaru. This is almost like the Dread Scar in World of Warcraft, leading up from the Deadlands towards Corthalas, the Blood Elf city. Although it's not nearly as wide, and there aren't like. Also, thematically, it was a bit different. That was the Dread Scar in WoW is an undead thing, not a chaos demon thing. So rather than Scaru lining the route like in here, demons, what we'd have. What we have in the Dread Scar. Oh, no, wrong one. In the Dread Scar in WoW is undead, the Scourge rising to attack you. How do you turn to launch his fireball quickly enough? Or shenanigans. Vulnerable markers on him just then. Ooh, mirror knives. Let's see what those are about. Flawless Frostward trim. I mean, flawless, great, lovely. want flawless. Frostward trim. Don't really care about that fact. Oh no. Mirror knives. Ooh. They actually look a bit like a pair of dagger form weapons. Well, they look reminiscent of weapons that you can get in World of Warcraft, except in that it's a greatsword, so a really big sword rather than a pair of daggers. But physical damage, lightning damage, shock over 5 seconds. Crafted from Niskaru's skin, these daggers grant the owner a persistent preternatural sense of one's surroundings. Nice. I forget what the item in WoW is called that these look like. These are reminding me of. Oh, it's a slightly different form factor, isn't it? From one to the other, they're a pair, obviously, but they're not identical. This one reminds me of a kind of saber-shaped. I think it's a greatsword that you can get in Wrath of the Lich King. You get the hilt of a sword off of an enemy, and then you can like rebuild it using Saronite, and you need to go through one or more of the dungeons in Icecrown Citadel, and then you need to. I think that you need to go through Icecrown Citadel and do stuff to actually get the item. But that's way worse than these. I mean, that's a huge drop in damage. So I won't be using them. I'll just add them to my collection. Oh yeah, pile of rocks. Silverite chakrams. I have no use for Prisma chakrams anymore, so quite why I would want to keep the Silverite chakrams I just got. I don't know. Quite interested in what's coming up here. This seems like quite a high rocky area, as opposed to the very swampy areas that we were. Low, swampy, almost mangrovey probably, because they're quite close. I mean, the Drowned Forest is almost on the sea. Like, there's a little bit down here. This is almost at the shore. Like, this is like a couple of feet above sea level. So this whole area feels like it's a couple of feet away from being a mangrove swamp. Ooh. Leodrin. A quest giver. Hello. Still on ice traction, good. That's what you get. Oops. Baelor's Crossing. I'm surprised that's a discoverable location. Yeah, this is definitely where the Baelor came through. And there used to be a path across here. Huh, that's a Fae. Wasn't expecting that. Hi, chaps. Let's get out the fire chakrams. Too late. playing that optimally, was I? Oh well. Ooh. Alander's Edge. Nice. Kite shield of fire warding, don't care. What weapon did we just pick up? Ooh, aren't they fancy? We got a pair of chakrams that look similar to this, that had this kind of design on them, that were... Oh, I don't remember anymore. Are they lightning? These weapons confer upon their bearer the long-dead necromancer Alander's lore concerning magical wards, as well as his unwholesome vitality. Fire damage, extra mana, and plus 20% damage. Nice. And considering the level of purples we've been getting so far, these are actually pretty good. Still not as good as any of these, but they're not terrible. How's it going, Leordran?
Do not be alarmed, young one. I am not your enemy.
That's nice.
Not all of the Winter Fae have joined the ranks of the Tuatha.
I know that.
I did not join the Tuatha when they came, even as other that I cared for fell under their spell. The Great Cycle and the Balance are what I follow. This war of theirs is lunacy. Even here, the Tuatha created death and destruction. When they summoned Baelor, the region was consumed in flames. It will be a long time before anything grows in the charred path he left behind.
Alright, it was charred, okay. Bit difficult to tell. I thought maybe it was just churned earth.
I do not understand them or their new god. My friends among them have become wild, not like themselves at all. They are cruel and distant now, fanatical in their beliefs.
Oh, he gives training. What training has he got? Oh. Not ready for this level of training. Minimum skill level required 7. Okay.
I am awaiting the return of my beloved Alea. She fell under the spell of the Tuatha and marched north with their vile army. Among them she perished, one of the many to fall at Melsenshir. I wonder, could you help me with a small task? I need this ring placed inside of a hollow.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, he might have to... The amount of time it takes for a Fae to, after they've entered the cycle, to return and spring from their hollow again seems... well, they've never given us a clear indication, but it seems like it can take... Seems like it's variable and like it can take a while. So, I mean, he's immortal, so he's not got anything to worry about, really. He just has to worry about death by misadventure. So, it's reasonable for him to wait, I think. But I am curious about why he can't do it.
I am forbidden from entering Ranil.
Oh, fair enough.
When
then.
Alea fell under the spell of the Tuatha, I tried to convince her that it was lunacy, but her belief was fanatical. She banished me from her presence and that of her hollow.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go do this.
Thank you, mortal. Alea's hollow is called Ranil. It lies on the southern edge of the Keening. There is a small altar at its bottom. Place the ring there. I wish to show Alea that my love has remained true, and that I wait for her still.
Good on you. I hope when she returns from the cycle that she's no longer under the thrall of the Tuatha.
Ranil is a Fey hollow on the southern edge of the Keening. It is where Alea returns after each turn of the Great Cycle. My beloved, we have always been together through every turn of the great cycle. But with the coming of the Tuatha, she changed. She no longer cared for the balance, only for their new god. I tried to convince her to return to the cycle, but she wouldn't listen. She marched with the Tuatha army to Melsenshir and fell during the battle. Go to Ranil. It's a hollow on the southern edge of the Keening. Place the ring on the altar you will find there. By doing so, we shall demonstrate to Alea that my love for her remains true. Farewell.
Wonder what training he provides. It might be something like dispelling. That's the word I was looking for. Dispelling is a fairly fey thing. A pile of rocks. But just because dispelling seems like a fey thing doesn't mean that that's actually what he's going to be the trainer for. He could be the trainer for a stealth or something. Savant. 80 mana. Ah, okay. Oh, you've triggered an attack by Tuatha. I wonder what he was doing here on his own. You don't typically send out a single soldier on his onesie for anything. Not in normal standing armies. Let's take it. Theoden's charge, which is, I think, just a straight 20% damage boost, which is nice. Ooh. Boots of Justice. What are these? Finesse boots. In Dalantarth, Emery fell into a deep sleep. He awoke wearing this fey-forged armor, half smothered in the blood of slain brownies. It's a weird myth. Half smothered. Strange. Oh well, that's giving us +1 to stealth. Nice. Damage resistance, health stolen per hit, critical hit damage, bleed resistance. It's not really a great set of bonuses. Don't know that I'd actually, even if that gear was, oh hey, there's more of the dudes. I obviously was approaching from the wrong location and confused the game. Hold on, sorry. Just before we continue the fight, can I repair my gear? Be really appreciative if I could do that. Well, why don't I just repair everything, eh? They got stricken down like wheat before the scythe, didn't they? Helped not only by Battle Frenzy, but also Theoden's charge. When I entered here and he spawned in and I, you know, spotted him and defeated him, I did pause and look. I mean, I didn't open the map, but I did pause and look on the minimap around here, and there weren't any other enemies. It was only when I left and came back It's only when I came down here and then came back that any more of the Tuatha spawned in. Oh, hello. This is a surprise. Get back here. No running away. Where's he going? The weirdo. What was that even about? If he was just going to turn around and fight again. Nuts. Oh, is he running away because he's on fire? Ah! Okay. That explains it then. So he runs away until he gets put out. But he continues running? That's a bit weird. Not something I've seen before, really. Oh. We got part of the death animation, and then he fell over all the way, facing a different way. Okay. I think the game is a little bit confused. Maybe it was the running away because he was on fire that confused things. Jotun. These seem to be jump points going down this way towards the chantry. What a weird area. This whole place just feels really... Oh no, it's jumped down from up high. Okay. I thought... So we jumped down this way. I thought when I was approaching that there was like a hollow in the rocks that went down. I don't know quite how I managed to come to that conclusion. What's this up here? This is a pretty grand castle, isn't it? Ordra Firen. Ordra Firen sounds like a human or Alpha name. No, there's no way I'm going to be able to sneak up on any of these guys. No, they're all completely aware of me. Nuts. Ha! Yeah, I managed to dodge that one. That's unusual. Oh, so Trickster's Draft. Cage key, interesting, okay. No, let's leave that. My dispelling's still not quite at the max, so I'll leave that. That's very hard. I do not feel like having a go at. What cage was that the key for? Why was I able to pick it up before... I mean, I assumed that it's a quest objective, but why was I able to pick it up before...
Who dares to stand against Tirnoch? Strike her down and salt the earth of her grave. Nothing may live, lest Tirnoch come dancing.
I wonder whether he's still going to talk to us even if we break it. it's not dependent on the chimney still being unshattered. That wasn't the direction I wanted to go, and it didn't help anyway. Oh, that was quick.
Try as you might, struggle as you will, you are deluded. There is no winning for you, only death.
Yes, we've only been meeting death so far, haven't we? We haven't been winning so far. Your army is dying.
Yes, but death as you define it means little to us. The great cycle returns, each to offer as to offer again. And every time they do, Tirnoch gets stronger. Soon, she will be born into this world. You will witness her power personally, and it will be the last thing your mortal flesh shall ever feel.
Unlikely. Cool. Don't need that. Cool, that's crit, isn't it? 18% critical hit damage. Let's break that down for parts. Savant. That's mana, isn't it? Yeah, that's junk. Is there anything interesting over here? It seems like... Shouldn't this look out over the midden? Yeah. We should be able to see the midden from here. And maybe we can just about make out... No, that's not the midden. That's a mountain. That's not the tree in the middle. That's a mountain. Itchy knee. It's a bit disappointing that we can't see any features of that zone from this one. Ooh. We've spawned in some more Jotun. How's it going, guys? Oh, and some Tuatha. Well, a Tuatha. There we go. Even getting some Tuatha archery support didn't help much, did it? No. Wow, that's a long lunge, eh? Get out. Wow. Super fucking irritating that the fights ended up being on a slope, so that my attacks just go straight into the slope. Don't like that. Where exactly are you aiming, eh? Cool, thanks. What kind of pose is that? Presenting his ball sack. Average the spell. Let's give that a shot. Nice. Scarwood bark. Not really worth it. Oh no, I don't want any of these things. I just want to add them all to junk, don't I? Consumables. Junk. Do I actually need these? Well, I certainly don't need these anymore. I'm Master Blacksmith's Craft, so I don't need a greater... Well, I don't need either of them actually, do I? Because I've got maxed out blacksmithing. So, don't need them. I suppose I might as well keep the rest. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I might as well keep the rest just in case. It's unfortunate. These guys are Alpha Army soldiers, aren't they? Who were captured. Probably scouts who were captured and
help me, please.
Have since died.
I know you. You are the one who slew the Baelor at Melson Shear.
I am indeed.
I was at that battle as well.
So what a
It was
surprise.
my unit that drove the Tuatha off the southern wall.
Nice work.
Please, you must help me. Those Jotun will not let me survive much longer. Many soldiers of the Alpha army were drafted, but I volunteered. I could not watch as my southern cousins were annihilated. I have been fighting alongside my brethren for years, and just as I was starting to think that this war would never end, you showed up.
Indeed I did.
Thank you, hero, for giving me hope. They are vile creatures. I do not know how anyone can stand to be around them. You would have to be desperate to hire them as mercenaries.
But some people do, some bandits do, don't they?
The wind is ferocious, the rocks are sharp, and the water is still and black. You could not find a more inhospitable place. The key to this cage is held by a Jotun rune lord, just down the road.
Not anymore.
That fat bastard comes by here every morning and taunts me with it. Please, retrieve it and get me the hell out of here. After the siege was broken, my commander saw the witch knight Claren fleeing to the east. He thought that if we could catch him before he made it to Alabastra, we could get rid of one of the Tuatha generals. He did not count on Claren having a refuge full of Jotun mercenaries.
I already have the key. I like that the game has the possibility that you've found the key already taken into account.
Thank Lyria. I only wish I'd had the chance to kill that fat pile of Barghest muck myself. I have another favor to ask of you, hero. The witch knight Claren is holed up in Gennig, the keep on the hill.
Oh, okay.
Meet me inside. We cannot let one of the Tuatha's generals escape.
You maybe, perhaps, possibly overestimating your abilities slightly.
I have never encountered another Fae like him. He is one of the most sadistic generals of the Tuatha army. I do not think he even cares about their religion anymore. He just wants to see the world bathed in blood.
And we defeated him on the walls pretty soundly, and he ran away. Like a coward.
We need to go to Gennig, that keep on the hill. Meet me inside.
Righto.
Until the next time.
Oops. Got stuck. Ooh, hey. Ember eyes. Is that some more jump down points? Yeah. Big old place, isn't it? She's obviously struggling against just a joke warrior. Like, not even a chieftain or a rune lord or anything. was hoping there'd be something up here. Probably... Oh no, it doesn't look like there's anything down there either. I mean, I'll jump down to check when we're on the way down, on the way out. But it doesn't seem like there's anything much to pick up. Ooh, hey.
The Tuatha have brought war to the Winter Fae. They bring us all into this conflict and turn the Court of Winter into some engine of war. But the House of Sorrows would not join. They resisted. They were the sole embodiment of all winter, all that was great and unique about our people. It could not be so easily discarded.
Well, you know, all of the chantries have been destroyed now, so there shouldn't be any more of the mind control going on. Oh, we can return to Sidon now. Okay.
Good, you are here. Claren has filled this place with Jotun mercenaries. He must not have had that much faith in the Tuatha cause. We cannot let him escape. He must die. No doubt he has surrounded himself with Jotun guards. This will not be easy.
No. If only because they are difficult to stun and have a tendency to bash you if you get too close. But it won't be difficult either, really. Just hope that she's got plot armor.
I am not sure. We must find the Witch Knight, Claren, and defeat him. Until the next time.
It appears as though we go straight, but I've got a feeling we'll need to go left or right because that won't open. Okay, there's a corner. Well, let's go and clear out the rest of the place before we fall upon Claren. Clarion? Claren. Stab. Way more health than the Bolgan that we've met in the Drowned Forest, eh? Set him on fire. That's interesting. Does this lead through to here? I assumed coming in here would lead us to around to him, but maybe we'll get to him by going this way. Mysterious. Chakrams of light will do more damage during the day, which I don't care about. How did that still manage to hit me? I was behind him. Finished him off. I don't mind that she stole the kill. I almost said kill-stealed, but that's not a word. Yeah, looks like this actually brings us to Claren. Okay. And I came this way hoping that we would clear the place before getting to Claren, because I thought that this would come around this way, but no. I have, despite my intentions, managed to come straight for Claren. Oh hey, Tinder Twig. How's it going, dude? Remember me? Annoying that he was somehow managing to avoid getting hurt because he was behind something, despite the fact that...
Even seeing his broken body does nothing to lessen my anger. All of the Tuatha will suffer for their barbarity. Thank you, hero. I will return to the main Alpha army with the news of the Witch Knight's death.
Cool.
Until next time.
Despite the fact that the chakrams will just go straight through the physical object and fly out and come back, apparently being behind this reduces the damage. Ooh. Claren's Scepter and Demon Horns. Let's have a look at both of those, shall we? After we've explored. Ooh. I thought there were alcoves, candles up in that alcove, but no, they're just glowy plants that are yellow. Savant's boots, add junk, take. So, hi, welcome, Nomad. Oop, no, wrong button. What have we got here? Demon horns. Ooh, those are fancy, aren't they? Beware the demon, Fey proverb. Fire damage, 15% chance to critical hit, 15% critical hit damage. Nice. How do they stack up against my current daggers? They might be better actually. Claren's Scepter, Claren, not Calaran. The Scepter of the Witch Knight Claren, a powerful Tuatha known to have tinkered with necromantic sorceries. We almost fixed Battlegrounds for WoW Vanilla. Nice. I've decided to go for playing Burning Crusade solo. Helped to test it recently. We know the issues and most probably how to fix based on what we observed. Nice. So I was about to say I'm not really one for PvP, but if this is single player, that you're not against other people, so it would still be... Would it really be PvP if it were single player? These will then get ported to the other SPP. Nice. Yeah, I was playing Legion and playing it completely solo with nobody else there after a few years. It's been a few years since Legion. It's not as fun as I remember. It runs perfectly well, yeah. It runs fine, no problem there. But the experience isn't what I remember, and it feels empty. Like So this is an interesting weapon. I'm probably never going to use it, but fire damage, 30% chance to steal 20 health per hit, and 30% chance to steal 20 mana per hit. Not good enough to switch out, but 154. These add health and mana and have chance to critical hit, but these have more chance to critical hit and do critical hit damage. So I think I'm actually going to switch to the Demon Horns. I think it has willingly NPC bots, because SPP Legion has no random bots in the world. Yeah, well, it's not just that; it's the whole experience, irrespective of whether there are bots or not. Playing Legion again, and then just earlier today, in fact, I was struggling to get Burning Crusade single player working, and I just about managed to, and played it for like 20 minutes before I needed to stop and have food. But it feels like Legion feels disjointed from what it originally was. Like, you can still tell that it's WoW, but because of the huge amount of changes that they've made over the course of the life of the game, to the point, and then when you get to the point of Legion, it feels disjointed. It feels disassociated, dislocated from the game that it had been in Vanilla and BC and Wrath. Is there anything here to interact with? No. Okay. So, like, in the classics, in those three that I just listed, you need to stop and eat and to replenish yourself, and having cooking is significant because it gets you better food, and using crafting is useful because it gives you better gear, and like there are wands that you can craft with enchanting, and those are actually useful. Like you might choose to use a wand on your character if it's a caster, and while wands are still present in the game in Legion and later, you would never equip one. You would never bother because it's just not useful. Like, it's not WoW by the time of Legion got solved, and if it wasn't if a choice you made wasn't part of the solved equation, it was suboptimal and like the game didn't even support you making that choice, really. Like, you could in Legion play a mage who equipped a wand if you felt like it, but you wouldn't be doing as much damage as if you were on staves. These guys off. And so playing Legion, it feels like the game is only superficially the game that it started out as, and the first 3 WoW expansions, one was supposed to be used to regen mana. It wasn't really made for DPS. Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, if that's what it was supposed to be for, that's interesting to know. That's good to know. I may acquire a wand now for the benefit of the warlock I've made. But yeah, in Legion, for example, you don't. Oh no, I don't want to use a blacksmith's forge. That's not what I want to do right now. In Legion, you're never out of mana. Or like, you you might, if you're facing enemies back to back for like 5 minutes, you might run out of mana. But then you just need to stop for like 10 seconds and your mana bar will refill instantly. Yeah. Never really felt like mana was a problem in Legion or later. It was a resource, but it wasn't something you really needed to manage very much. WoW feels a lot like the RPGs that I think it would probably have been based on, like Dungeons and Dragons. So Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 is what was out at the time when WoW was being made. And having played lots of D&D 3.5 and being familiar with D&D second ed and first ed, it really feels like WoW first edition WoW Vanilla was grounded. Like, you needed to spend the time, and you needed to be careful about how you spent your money and things that you invested your money in and your time, and you needed to be careful about making choices for profession, and you needed to spend time, you needed to invest time in your profession, your chosen professions. But in Legion and later, and probably WoD, like, yes, but it was also very player dependent for endgame. Oh, fair enough. I'm probably not going to be doing much endgame in single player, to be honest. That's annoying. Oh, did I not kill him? Kind of bullshit how they can change direction so. Has he lost sight of me? Yes. In the middle of the fight, he ran off partway down a corridor and lost sight of me, and completely forgot about my existence. Ha! Idiot. So, likewise TBC and Wrath, but less, I guess. Yeah, so, it really... you can tell when you're playing one of the classics, you know, Vanilla, BC or Wrath, that it's a game based on the ideas of tabletop role-playing. And as the expansions rolled on, the game really left that behind, but it was still tied to, like, you can just about still tell, kind of. You can see the vestiges of those systems that were useful during the classics but aren't anymore because they got streamlined out for the purposes of making players, or letting players play more easily. But the intention is to later port a sort of balanced system to dungeons and a similar system to make raids easier. Oh, okay, cool. So I guess what I'm complaining about is that, not that WoW has changed, I think that's perfectly fine, but that they didn't... I don't want to say make a new game, but if they'd done that, then they probably wouldn't have been met with the same success that they do now. They have now. People would have stayed in the classic WoW versions rather than switch out to a new WoW game, I think, for the most part. But it feels like it probably would have been a better game if they'd divided up the experience and weren't tied to the new things, the new directions they're going in for the new expansions. Feels like it would have worked better probably if the game wasn't still tied to what it had been in the past. Because, like, the global cooldown for abilities that is like a second or a second and a bit. So if I'm MC and Vanilla you needed 40 players. Yeah, I remember. I remember Vanilla had 40-man raids, which is mind-boggling. To me. I mean, probably isn't that impressive, really, overall, but... to my tiny mind, it is. Okay, I think we're done here. We need to find someone to sell all of our junk to, because we're almost out of space. Ooh. Catalepsis. Nice. Catalepsis is almost as good as these fiery regenerating chakrams that I made. In Wrath, I think that all got cut down to 25 max for raids. Yeah, I don't know when raid sizes got slashed. Catalepsis. This name is a pun on the Colossae word for insight, suggesting the ease with which one's enemy's guts may be revealed to public view. So this does shocking damage, which isn't a surprise given the electrical effect. And bleed damage over 5 seconds. I used to run 40-man raids. I had to assign officers to handle the peasants. They got slashed in BC, I think. Oh, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, these are cool. I'm glad that purples are catching up with, you know, greens that I've crafted, but I don't feel like Catalepsis are quite good enough to warrant leaving switching. But yeah, so the global cooldown is a weird artifact of the slower pace of older WoW, where I think they were trying to make combat feel slow and deliberate and purposeful. Whereas in Legion and BFA and Shadowlands, I don't feel like there's any point in a global cooldown anymore. Like, maybe it stops people from being, like, Twitch button pressers, like, twitchy, like, ability snipers. But there's only a small percentage of players who are capable of reaching that level anyway, I think. I mean, you have that kind of player in League of Legends, and there are lower levels of League of Legends that don't require you to be amazing on the mouse and keyboard, like amazing with reactions. You can perfectly adequately play the game.
Dawn, I've got plenty of supplies if you've got plenty of coin.
One of the great things about TBC is that most specs are not only viable in 25-man raids. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say there. Ooh, that unders quite a lot, didn't it? When it says, when you say you're quoting something, but when it says are not only viable in 25-man raids, it seems as though it should be but also something else. If the sentence was one of the great things about TBC is that most specs are viable in 25-man raids, that would make more sense as a sentence.
I'm back again.
Max raid size was 25, smallest was 10-man raid since TBC. Okay. That was weird. Okay, I don't care about any of those. Let's put them back, put them in. What have I got taking up space? Ingenious hood. Oh yes, that's right. I wanted to keep that so I could break it down, didn't I? Because that lowers mana costs. Hopefully I'll get a component out of it that lowers mana costs. And there was the shield, which gives +2 to might abilities. Right, that's why there's stuff in my inventory. Okay. Let's fast travel back then. Jump down again. So, I mean, personally, I don't see the point in having... by the time we got around to Legion, I didn't really see the point in having a global cooldown that affects how quickly you can fire off your abilities. I mean, abilities having cooldowns, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's not what I'm arguing against. It's the... When you press an ability, almost all of your other abilities have like a 1-second refresh before you can press anything else again. There are a few, like, panic abilities that you could... that you can use, like maybe 1 or 2 per class. That aren't on the global cooldown. And I don't know anything about the argument for and against global cooldown. That's probably been going on for ages, for years. But it probably... The excuses that that Blizzard come up with for why they aren't implementing or removing the global cooldown is that it's integral to the game experience, which I don't think is true anymore. I think the game experience has changed so much that that's not relevant. Much like how it's not really relevant having all the different types of weapon like wands in anymore, or what else? Most of the food, most of the grey vendor trash. That's not useful anymore. Like, you don't need that to earn money in the game, to get your money threshold up, your wealth threshold up to the point where you can spend on more useful things. Bit weird. We do have a quest to go in there, don't we? Alright. Fallen Hall. I don't remember what the quest is, though. Oh no, it was to do with the House of Sorrows, wasn't it? There we go.
It is a dark place we have come to. I can hear the sorrows of our brothers and sisters. They are crying out with each sword stroke. Satanin has tainted this place. We must head deeper into the hall. Behind the great cavern there's a holdfast sealed with mighty doors. The rebels will be there, and likely Satanin as well. Farewell.
It used to be in WoW that you needed the vendor trash grey stuff and like the random bits of skin and claw and tooth that you got out of the random mobs that you killed. Seems someone recently sent a legal letter to the UK Health Minister related to lockdowns. I think shit will hit the fan real soon. Is this against lockdowns, or that they haven't been as careful with lockdowns as they should have been? Against idiots. The lockdowns happened to keep us all from dying.
Yes?
Seems like this member of the House of Sorrows didn't have plot armor, eh?
The Tuatha are here!
Yes, clearly. In times like the plague, yes. Yeah, so in WoW Classic, the whole point of having all of those random items drop from the enemies that you killed that have absolutely no use other than to be sold was to keep you going. It was to give you a cash flow whilst you were adventuring, because adventuring was much slower, and it was so that you could buy food and drink to replenish your health and mana, and it was so that you could repair things, and so that you could upgrade your abilities, or spend money on learning profession, like recipes and stuff. And it would take ages to raise funds for amount. Yeah. But in later expansions like Legion or BFA or Shadowlands, you have such a massive flow of cash in from completing quest after quest after quest back to back, that you don't need to worry about money, and you can just jump straight into professions, and they cost barely anything compared with what you're earning. That you can just go straight into your professions, and also like as you're leveling up, you gain stacks and stacks of things like linen and wool and other stuff that you can sell on the auction house. And yeah, there isn't a need for random trash loot drops anymore, because the game has moved away from that style of play. And I don't even know why they keep it in, other than like tradition, which isn't a good excuse for anything. Ah, these are Arathi ruins. This is one of the biggest Irathi cave
Yes?
cities that we've seen. Because you make a lot more earning. More the earning was easier. More ways to make gold. Yeah, auction house also works in SPP. Cool. Yeah, I think I'd checked once and seen just loads of stuff, but not actually needed anything out of the auction house at the time. So it's good to know that it's there and that it works. Although I think if I really needed something, I could probably have just used the command add item and found the number, like the code for it. And added it. And cheated. They don't even care that we're here. Oh, but I can still hit them through the barrier. How does it feel, idiots? The weapons go through the barriers. Ah. Sure, but the AH was for immersion, I guess, and to make it easier to purchase than grinding for items. Yeah, that's cool. I did ask, actually, whether, before I managed to get the Burning Crusade server running, I did ask whether, for immersion purposes, whether the bots would spend all their time jumping around. Because that's my memory of playing during BC and Wrath, is that everyone would jump everywhere. And apparently not quite yet, but they could work it out.
Look, that must be the leader, Saturnin.
Yeah, okay, but what's over here? Is there anything over here? Is anyone going to come from over here and attack us? There's no barrier this time.
Those monsters, they are butchering the rebels. They may have rejected Vizarine, but we have to help who we can.
Okay, let's do the instance or the quest as it was intended, shall we?
That was the leader. It must have been Saturnin. And if he's heading in there, that must be where the rest of the House of Sorrows are. We have to get past this door. We need to stop him before the rebels are all killed.
Oh, okay. We've accidentally... I wanted to explore off to the left before continuing, but it seems like I've tripped some triggers, and maybe the door was supposed to close as we approached?
The Fallen Hall is a fortress in the Phalanx. To get to its heart, we will need to open 3 great doors. There should be 2 other sigil stones that we can use in addition to the one before us. They will grant us passage.
Okie dokie.
The Fallen Hall is well known in these lands for its strong defenses. There are 3 sigil stones that control the Holdfast's mighty doors. They are strewn throughout the hall. Activate all of them and the path to the Holdfast will be open. Farewell.
Right, okay. So here's one. Sharpening fulcrum, nice. Let's take all of that. And there's a chest over here. Got a shot. Nice. Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yes?
You can't get down there, but it's cool that it's there and you can see it. Hello.
Another justling for the harvest.
Pain in the ass this fight's gonna be. Such a long reach. Loads of health. Why do all these giants have amazing turning circles? How's it going, chaps? Ready for death, are we? That's who's come to visit. Why do mages? Why does the mage AI create these presumably shield rings, and then leave them? Like, I've never played a straight-up mage in the game, so I don't know whether you gain the ability to, like, fire off firebolts or whirlwinds and create those protective rings. But creating a protective ring and then leaving it just seems like such a massive misstep. Cuirass of the Crucible. Nice. Let's see what that does. It's plate, unsurprisingly. Thera Adwaldus commissioned this from her beloved companion, the Dokothar Master Armourer, Neri Conir. They have black efficiency and armour, and then just bunch more armor, bleeding damage, piercing damage. Interesting. Okay. So that's that button pushed, and the ring has changed to kind of be yellow-orange, pink. That was kind of a peachy sort of colour, wasn't it? So we just have the one more. There we go. Cool, that's faded, but we've already beaten these guys. Helm of Eviscerating. What does that do? Bleeding damage. Oh, okay. Junk. Don't care. Do you suppose members of the House of Sorrows in here fighting in like 5 minutes ago, but they all died and despawned? And they weren't in the first room that we entered, so probably not. Just hoping that the game hasn't forced unavoidable losses on us, which is never a good feeling. Oh hey, almost didn't notice you. Oh, okay, just stuff to add to junk. When did WoW link up all auction houses on each faction? I think I'm almost certain. I'm like 99% certain that it was after BC, probably after Wrath. Mages, but archers are kind of annoying. Did anybody drop anything? No? Okay. Ooh. I know I heard an audio cue. Thodun's charge. Let's have a damage boost. Thank you. Pile of rocks. So where are... Where are the other members of the House of Sorrows? All dead. Oh, nice. Wonder if there's any way that I could have avoided this. Probably not. The game's not big on... I mean, it does occasionally, but it's not big on giving you opportunities to avert disaster.
Oh, this is splendid. I was worried I would have nothing left to see to after I slaughtered these wretches.
There will be a seeing to here, yes, definitely, but it will be of you. Leave the house alone, Saturnin. You sound so petulant. Come, Saturnin, this ends here. With you.
You are mistaken, little one. I am not Saturnin. Though I can see where you might have made such a mistake. Even I have not seen his face. But I have heard his voice, and the orders it carries. And that is enough. Now, let us fight.
Interesting. Let me guess, Bizarane is Saturnin. Let's just stun lock him into this corner, eh? Oh hey, other enemies are spawned. Interesting.
You are more amusing than I originally believed, but my master has given me instructions to spare you. Saturnin has a message for you to deliver to your master. This war is over. Soon the sorrows will belong to the Tuatha.
Oh, and then he runs away.
I can scarcely believe it. All this death, all this destruction, and we have nothing to show for it. No Saturnin, no safety. The Weeping King left the world with good cause. For all that is left of the House of Sorrows is ruin.
What do we do now?
We must return to Bizrain with this news. He will want to know what has happened here. Farewell.
Yeah, fair enough. Don't really care about that. Hidden door. Lovely. Though it is odd that this section back here was on the mini-map before I discovered the secret door. That doesn't usually happen. Renaissance sword. What's that? Ooh. Regen, but also might abilities. Let's have that and break that down for parts. Add the junk. I'm sure there's a way of using shadow prisms to be very clever and distract enemies and sneak up behind them in occasions when they're arranged such that they're looking over one another's shoulders, basically, such that you can't actually creep up on them. But I'm not that clever or that patient, and I can't be bothered learning how to use shadow prisms to maximum efficiency. If I think that I have an opportunity to sneak, I will take it, but I won't create opportunities.
Yes?
She teleports to me, and then because I'm technically moving near to her, there's one dude survived. Because I'm technically moving near to her, she thinks that I'm here to interact, so she goes, yes.
I thought nothing would stop them.
So she's just going to find a corner in which to despawn, I guess. And we'll see her back at the House of Sorrows later. But we still have a thing to do here, and that is to find someone's hollow, place a ring in it on an altar. Master George Shellac. That might be useful. Let's have off with it. Can I sneak up on him before anyone else notices? Yes.
Let's finish this.
But I couldn't sneak up on him and not have anyone else notice, so that I would be able to sneak up on the rest of them, unfortunately. Oh well. think. Savant's Ring will just give me 80 mana, I think, so not super useful. Whose is this? Oh, is this Theoden? No, that's not Theoden. Athene's Wisdom, which I picked up just as the previous one wore off. Statuses. Effects. Status effect durations and experience bonus. It's not something that we super need, but okay. What was the RIs on? Oh yes, that's right. Lowered mana costs that you gain after doing the sojourn for the temple in Rathir, the Lyria temple. Right. Bit of a weird small zone here, eh? Hello. Yes, I thought this would happen. Ice chakrams. Hello. Scarring is like ice. I have to say, I don't like the Scarring. Stop stun-locking me! Really irritating that they've got such a mix of abilities, and my own inability to follow attack telegraphs also quite irritating, but I realise that's on me. I feel like the attack telegraphs aren't that clear though, like they could be better. Oh nuts, there's no way I'm going to sneak up on this asshole, is there? Alright, weapons, primary, fiery, chakrams. Cut that out. There we go. Where's this going? Ranil. Is this where the Baelor was summoned? Seems like it.
Tear not away.
Thanks for locking me in that animation there for no reason. Yep, sure do love getting locked in animations. A lot of scarwood trees around here. Two pairs of dreadscale boots. For no reason. All of the Tuatha are wearing, well, I mean, whatever that is, it's not dreadscale. And it's not Prismere plate. So they're not wearing dreadscale boots. And the Jotun sure as fuck aren't. I mean, they're not even wearing footwear. They've got, like, things tied around their legs, but that's not footwear. So quite why you're finding pieces of gear in the camps of enemies, none of whom actually wear that gear. I really don't know. Born Iscarum. What a surprise. So let's switch back out to icy weapons. Huh. Is this an ice Niscarum? Yeah, he's resisting that. Okay. Turns out, didn't need to switch out to ice things. Oh, come on. Buttons I can press. Hey, I managed to avoid that one. It's unusual. I can't tell the difference between his various fucking attack animations. I see them often enough. Warning markers on the ground, please. Or don't have fucking lunge on a cooldown so I can spam it. Gauntlets of the Crucible, what are those? And what has this guy dropped? Oh, hey. More pieces of the Crucible armor. Okay. So these go together. Nice. Sort of silvery with a gold trim. Okay. Put the red scale back on though. So it looks like this is where the Baelor was summoned. And came up out of the earth. And clawed his way along a kind of a winding route over to Melsinshire. What was that? Oh right, more boggarts. Okay. Respawned. Ooh.
Until one night, when nature changed its course, and Gadflow, like an errant thread frayed from the weave, took the crown from Mathon's head. A joke, he said. A joke. And the court swayed in laughter. For Gadflow's was often like the mockingbird, with many calls, but none of his own. He placed the crown upon his head, and smiling, took a crimson sword. He betrayed the Fae with a swing of his newfound freedom.
It's obvious that some of the roles in the various tellings of the cycling Fae breed resentment, and that is a real shame and the real flaw in their life cycle. But other than that, I think that the cycle and the tellings, the various tellings, are great. I mean, I suppose they had to put a flaw in so that there'd be some conflict, but yeah, it doesn't seem as though it happens all that often. It's like it's just the Maid of Windermere and Gadflow who were unhappy with their tellings, and in one case with the Maid of Windermere, it makes sense. She was just the villain over and over and over endlessly, with no ability to be anything else, which sucks. Oh, fuck's sake. And it brings me out of stealth as well, of course. You're not allowed to sneak through this fight with a bog thresh. Going quite as badly as it can sometimes, which is nice. Innovating ring. What's that do? Oh, okay. Platinum bands of this kind are capable of storing more potent enchantments than lesser rings of gold or silver. Okay. I mean, I'm never going to use the shaft, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's a jump down point, which means we'll, yeah, go around. In we go. One advantage, I suppose, in the areas after this point being smaller than previously is that bog thresh. Stout armor. What's that? 60 health and mana. Oh, okay. Okay. I was saying something before, and I've completely lost the thread of it. Oh yes! One good thing, I suppose, of the areas getting smaller is that I can do more of them per streaming session. Maybe that's a positive, I don't know. Am I going to be allowed to sneak up on this bog thresh? Really depends on those boggarts. And the thing about boggarts is that they have a tendency to rush around all over the place. Assholes. Lovely. Juggernaut's Amulet, that's going to be might abilities, isn't it? It's not all that useful. I would rather keep the one I've got on at the moment. Oh, inventory is full. Jeez. Okay, that happened quickly. Alright, I guess that we're going to take a short break from hollow delving. I definitely sold all my junk after the castle. Sold all my junk after the after Gennig, and all I did was Fallen Hall and make my way over here. And my inventory is filled up again. Okay.
The Greater looking to restock. Ilan Dodran has what you need.
Weird of him to refer to himself in third person like that.
Come back again.
Oh no, not inventory, I want map, don't I? Ranil, there we go. At what level did you start to notice more T5 material drops? I noticed tier 5 items for sale when I got to Rathir. And bearing in mind I'd gone Dalentarth Plains of Rathir rather than Dalentarth Datir Rathir. Not Plains of Rathir, Plains of Arathel. I'd gone straight east rather than south, then north and east. So once I got to Rathir, I started finding a few Prismere items for sale, Prismere weapons, and then as I journeyed south into Datir, I started picking up more and more. It wasn't until I was in House of Valor or Alzarund or Red Marches that I started getting Dreadscale, but I'd been getting bits and pieces of Prismir plate since I think Apotyr or Candria. And then, of course, once I got to Odessa, there was Prismir and Dreadscale, and I think Hexweave is the cloth armor. But yeah, Rathir was the first place that I saw any Prismir weapons, having gone straight east. And now we can continue with the looting. And I don't remember what level I was when I got to Rathir and when I started picking up those items, but it'll be on my YouTube, Vanilla Jester Gaming, and I put what areas I visit in each stream in the description, so you can probably just go through. It'll probably be in the 20s somewhere, but it should be relatively easy to find the stream in which I go to Rathir, and from there you can just like scrub through the timeline to find a screenshot. Because it gives you previews as you go through the timeline. Should give you a screenshot of me talking to someone in Rathir, or like visiting Rathir. We are gradually reaching max level, aren't we? Working our way towards it. Okay, that's the goal, and then there's just some arcane bar guests between us and the exit. Unclear exactly where in a hollow that a Fae coalesces, hatches, sprouts. The level, I guess, is relevant due to drops, but I am on re-reckoning and it only started dropping those items after level 31, I think. Oh no, I was earlier than level 31. But yeah, given that you're on re-reckoning and I'm on reckoning, it may not be a very good guide in any case. But yeah, I remember because we were talking about level area level, and I only got to level 30 when I was in like the Hollowlands or Elzerund or Red Marches. Like I only managed to get to level 30 when I was down here, and that was after I'd been to Rathir and come south. Yeah, due to level balance used. Yeah. So I guess getting tier 5 is after level 30 is better, probably, for the balance of the game. But yeah, I definitely didn't get it at 30. I'd started getting it probably at 20. I don't remember when I got to Rathir, to be honest, anymore. It's been ages. Very pretty hollow though, now that I'm looking. Lots of pink and purple. Well, pink and blue. And these big leaves, fronds and stuff. Oh, hey, Lisa's breath. Shame that the Fae who sprouts here turned to the Tuatha, but hopefully by the time she springs forth again anew, we'll have dealt with the root cause of the Tuatha, and they won't be how many times have I respec my character, and did I pay more every time? I think only once, but I am considering doing it again, and I don't remember whether it gets more expensive, I'm afraid. That seems like something you could look up on the wiki. Unfortunately, I don't know, and even if I went to respec now, I wouldn't be able to remember how much it cost last time I did it because it was ages ago. So, unfortunately, I can't help you. Sorry.
Impressive, is it not? This is where the greater Niskaru, Baelor, was summoned. Thank you for placing the ring, mortal. Alea will know that I remain true to her and that I wait for her still. Do you see the crater behind me?
Indeed I do.
It was created when Baelor was summoned into this world.
As I suspected.
One of the greater Niskaru. He wielded power that no mortal should have been able to stand against. I do not understand how anyone's fate could have been to slay such a beast.
That's because it wasn't anyone's fate.
Goodbye, mortal.
I have no fate. I'm a fate breaker, and that's why. So we have hand-ins. So let's go and do the hand-ins, shall we? I mean, I can...
So few of the Winter Court left to stand against the Tuatha.
I can ask Agarth.
Good news, I gather?
Well, hand this in.
Good. Good. But don't waste your time bragging to me. Sidon's the one you want to be telling.
Ask him to Fate Weave. 9,000. A part of me is like, maybe last time it was 3,000 or 6,000, but I really don't remember. Oh, I've only unbound it once. There we go. And that doesn't seem like... Well, starting out, that's a lot, but you probably wouldn't need to bother to unbind your destiny back when you're starting out in Dalentarth. So yeah, the money wouldn't really be... It wouldn't come into it. Wouldn't be an issue.
Gadfro's voice has fallen silent in this land. The Tuatha are frightened and disorganized. They run back to Alabastra to make their final stand. We owe you much. Our eyes are open and our blades unsheathed. Cluricon is won, but the House of Pride stands between us and the final goal. We are now free to press forward. And I can take you to an old friend who knows the next step. Yes, we will take you to his filthy tower on the island of Danistar. He hides within, and has not emerged in some time. I would like nothing more than to let him rot there. But he knows of a way past the sentinel of the House of Pride. But there will be more danger on the path ahead. Take these blades to prepare for whatever troubles you will face at his tower or beyond.
Oh, pair of blades. Nice. Sidon's Feyblades.
Far to the southwest, there is a darkened tree by the Caeled Coast. Meet me there, and we can walk the shadow to the gnome's tower. Aelin Shear will be waiting there. She was most insistent to join in whatever business you have with the Collector of the Dead.
When we were with What's-Her-Face with the House of Sorrows, she said that she couldn't take us with her when she shadow walked through the front door of the House of Sorrows, but he's telling us that he can shadow walk us, and over a much greater distance. So I have to assume that he's just way, way more powerful, or at least way better with the shadow walking. Those are the only explanations I can come up with in universe, so Watsonian explanations. I guess the Doyleist one is just arbitrary. They needed him to be able to. They needed him to be able to be the one who takes you.
Meet me at the Caeled Coast. The Winter Fae know of a shadow path to Ventrinius Island. We will meet again at the shadowed tree on the Caeled Coast.
Righto. Oh, down here somewhere, which we haven't visited yet. So probably here, but maybe here. Oh, there's 2 areas in the Caeled Coast. Oh, okay, still more to do. But we've got a hand in here. It's weird that there are no people showing up. No NPC arrow markers. Oh, are they all dead? Oh no. He's still alive, but somehow this tree is still burning.
Speak. This latest wound he has dealt may be fatal. He need only for us to succumb, and then he can find these sorrows. So that is what we will deny him. Let our losses harden our resolve. Where once we sought victory, we shall now seek attrition. I have told you of the burden that every Winter Fae carries from their birth. We are to embody death and decay in our very essence. For centuries, the Delvers of the House of Sorrows have been harvesting this essence from their winter brethren to relieve them of this burden. This amalgam of magic and emotion was collected and concentrated into a single powerful source, the Sorrows. And Saturnin wishes to turn that magic on the mortal armies.
Sounds devastating.
It is a difficult magic for a mortal mind to grasp, but the accumulation of centuries of sorrows is a fearsome weapon indeed.
Sounds it.
The burden of a single lifetime of sorrows can be debilitating. Their impact can instill madness or drive a life to end itself. Saturnin would hold a millennium of sorrows. With them, he could obliterate an army's morale and send them from victory to bedlam.
Sounds like a whole army's worth of Dementor magic.
Their location is an ancient secret. Only 2 Fae, the eldest, know. They left the house centuries ago to reside in Damelrock. The way to them is blocked by the Great Scale, a mighty spell which you must bypass. That alone will open your path to the eldest. You must kill beasts on the pans of the scale. Death is the only weight it will bear. Caelrod and Alarain are 2 of the oldest Fae in the Winter Realm. So old that they predate the house itself. With the death of the house's original ruler, the Weeping King, they fled. Their devotion was to the sorrows, not to winter. It is a manifestation of magic that prevents intruders from disturbing the perpetual reverie of the eldest. From what I understand, the sides of the room take the role of a scale, and whoever wishes passage must use death itself to manipulate the scale. The only weight the pans of the scale will acknowledge is death. When something dies on the scale, it will shift you one step closer to the eldest.
Seems convoluted.
They know where the sorrows, Saturnin's true target, reside. We must rouse them from their reverie and learn from them. To reach them, one must brave the road southward to Damelrock and pass the Great Scale.
Okie dokie. And that was level 30... 37? Okay. I thought we were higher than that. What do I want to spend on? Maybe I could spend it on dispelling. Well, it's clear that just through spending points that I gain through leveling up, even with the benefit of the Universalist Destiny, which gives you 3 points in every skill, I wouldn't be able to max out every skill. So obviously maxing out every skill would require the use of trainers, probably. Or skill books if I can find them. But just bringing all the skills to 9 would be good. Although, I mean, I can't even do that, can I? I've got 6 skills that are at 8. And I'll have... Well, this is 37... 38, 39, 40. I'll have 4 more skills, maybe? Alright, stealth then, I guess. Why not? Because that buys us a new ability. And then I guess probably between streams I'll go around to the various... Because it won't be very interesting for me to go and buy skills from trainers. So between streams I'll go around and buy training in some of these, I think. That's definitely useful. We'll definitely buy that. I haven't really used that, but oh well. I wonder what this blue in message is about. Unlocked Mastery of Arms, level 3 of 3. Yeah, let's buy that. let's increase burning damage. And that's all. That's all of them spent. Okay. And then we don't have any better. Well, I suppose I could switch out to like Slayer or something. But we're on Universalist, mainly for +3 to all skills. But like Mastery of Arms unlocks all weapon mastery abilities. Oh right, that's what that is. But all the other stuff is nice as well. Oh, here's Tybri.
Yes?
Couldn't remember her name before. Weird that she's only just made it back.
Yes? What is there that I can do? Farewell.
Put out that tree. There we go. That's something you can do. It's been burning for ages.
Yes?
Find some water or like a blanket or something and smother it or put it out. Or use magic. Use ice magic. Or mastery of fire magic to cause it to peter out or something. I don't know. You work it out. So there is a quest here, but it's collect Alpha earrings, and I'm pretty sure that I collected all of the ones I could... Well, I collected all the ones I could find. I'm pretty sure that I collected all of them. And I'm not just going to spend time running around the midden picking up more of them. So let's... here we are. Damel Rock. Let's go to Sanctuary Grotto and run around and down in the last 10 minutes, I guess. Bit of a shame. I was hoping that finishing up the keening would line up with the end of the stream, but just for neatness sake, because I'm like that. But no, even with finishing off the Drowned Forest and then going to the keening and then handing in quests, still got things not quite ending with the end of the stream. Who's this a shrine to? Ethene. Okay. Sprites. This doesn't seem like it's very much travelled. There isn't a path worn through the greenery. You would think if this were frequently traversed, there would be, you know, maybe paved or a brown path, but no, it's like it's mossy. Like there's a path here that indicates frequent use, but it peters out and stops, and it just turns into like, I think this is supposed to be moss. Like there's little round things. It's not. The pattern doesn't indicate to me grass stems, you know. It indicates moss or something like that. Oh, Spirit Weave. Okay, not Hex Weave. I think Hex Weave was tier 4. Spirit Weave is tier 5. Cloth gear. You know, the whole thing with cloth armor, leather armor, and metal armor is watching stuff on YouTube about, well, particularly stuff by Todd's workshop, where he fires medieval weight crossbow, or not crossbow, but medieval weight, medieval design war arrows at different armor substances, makes it clear that ordinary leather that's untreated, well, that's just tanned but isn't otherwise treated, is kind of the worst kind of armor. Then padded armor. And actually padded armor is remarkably good even against arrows, because it's basically like 34, 35, 36 padded layers of linen, and if you've got that, what you end up with is a remarkably stiff material that slows arrows remarkably. It would still hurt immensely, and some of the arrows, like the needle bodkin, for example, the really, really pointy arrow, go like an inch or two in, but like that's not that's extremely unpleasant, but it's not necessarily deadly. Like, even if it hits you in the chest, you might be okay, depending on where you get hit. And then chainmail. Chainmail actually against arrows is rubbish, because to an arrow, chainmail is basically a series of holes. And you wouldn't wear chainmail without padded armor underneath anyway, like a gambeson. Chainmail is basically good against cuts, and that's it. So, in the hierarchy of armors, based on the things that I have observed, I place leather at the bottom, then cloth, then chainmail, then what is, I think, probably so brigandine next, then full plate harness, and what brigandine is it's like a leather outer jacket with plates of small, like 3 or 4 inch wide, sort of 2 inch tall plates of mild steel layered inside, riveted in place under the leather, and that's probably what the creators of D&D thought was studded leather armor. Studded leather just is even worse than ordinary leather if you're making armor out of it. If you're hoping that it will protect you in a fight from weapons. But probably the creators of D&D looked at medieval manuscripts and saw people wearing armor that appeared to be leather but had studs in, and went, aha, studded leather, when in fact that would have been brigandine, which is like kind of like scale plate but like riveted in place, and kind of flexible. Oh, and there's scale mail in there as well, isn't there? Let's put scale mail, leather, padded armor, padded cloth, chainmail, scale mail, brigandine, full plate harness, in steel. Oh right, and there's also boiled leather somewhere in there. Todd did some experiments creating boiled leather plates, and he stuck together sheets of boiled leather in 2, 3, 4, and 5 thicknesses, I think. And he basically invented a method of sticking together boiled leather himself. And in the comments of the video where he was testing this stuff and shooting arrows into it, there were people sharing recipes that were translated and found in medieval manuscripts, and he might at some point try out those, which involve mixing things like iron filings and glass dust in with the glue that you use to stick the leather plates together. And to me that sounds like it would be really useful and helpful to the integrity of the armor, but since no one has actually tested it, I don't know. But based on the things that Todd and the YouTube channel again is Todd's Workshop, and you can probably find it by going there and searching boiled leather lockdown longbow. Based on his experiments with different thicknesses of boiled leather plate, he determined that you could make effective boiled leather plate armor as long as the front, the thickest part of the armor was like maybe 5 or 6 layers thick, and that would be about as effective as, probably about maybe slightly less effective than, but not significantly less effective than, full metal plate harness, because of its ability to stop arrows and stop blows. So yeah, in the hierarchy of armors, I will just insert, starting with leather and cloth, and ending with full metal, full plate harness, I will insert boiled leather plate just underneath full plate harness, mainly because, and above Brigandine, mainly because Todd experimented with firing medieval weight arrows, medieval design arrows from a bow, well, a crossbow, but from a bow that fired with the speed, with the power, so a 160-pound crossbow with the power of a medieval warbow. He found that actually Brigandine, with its standard, he goes into loads more detail than I am in his videos about these things, but the medieval standard of Brigandine was mild steel, not heat-treated steel, and so he had a suit of Brigandine made up of mild steel plates, and when he shot this medieval weight, medieval speed, medieval draw power equivalent bow at the Brigandine, the arrows were going in like 5 or 6 inches, which is deadly. And so, yeah, I mean, I place Brigandine above chainmail and scale mail, but below plates, because they're pretty good against. So scale, a Brigandine would give you more, I think, give you more protection against like incoming weapon blows, like melee weapon blows, because it's a bit more rigid. But it provides inadequate protection against arrows, I think. Anyway, after that sort of 10 minutes of walking up this small path and then talking about different armor materials, we've come to 3 hours. And so that's the end of the stream. So next time we will continue down into the Caeled Coast, into Amalur, and down here, and probably over to. But we'll probably manage this northernmost area of Caeled Coast, or Caeled Coast, and then go to the. Assuming that we leave from one of these points rather than down here, go to this small island. We'll pick up Alof the Hunter and Brun the Bard quests. Sergeant Odai. Meet allies on the coast of Cluricon. Yes, I thought so. We'll be doing that next time. We'll be picking up these quests next time. on Friday. 8 PM GMT, back here. Because I would prefer to pick up the quests on the day that we run around doing them, so that certainly for me, but probably also for you guys, the details of each quest are fresh. So, yes, that is the end of today's stream. Thank you for watching. I'll be back, as I said, 8 PM, roughly, probably about 10 past 8 actually, as these things go. GMT. Between streams, you can find me on Twitter at Vanilla Jester. I tweet just before I go live, so if you're not quite sure if it's running a bit late, check Twitter. That'll give you an idea of whether I'm about to start streaming, or whether, or maybe I'm not feeling well and I'm not going to stream. Or you can tweet at me if you feel like it. I also have a YouTube where I upload all of this, Vanilla Jester Gaming. I've been putting up recordings of streams the day after, since I caught up with myself. So tomorrow this will have gone up, I expect. Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I hope you've had a good time. I hope you want to come back again and watch me once more. And yes, I hope to see you again. And until then, I hope you have a nice time. And goodbye.